Hey, this is Peter Gould, one of the executive producers on Better Call Saul, and this is episode 206, Bali High.
Woohoo! Hi, I'm Rhea Seehorn. I play Kim Wexler.
Hi, Gennifer Hutchison, and I wrote this episode.
I'm Thomas Golubic. I'm the music supervisor.
Jonathan Banks.
I'm Nick Forshager. I'm the sound supervisor.
Oh wow, we have Nick here, and this is a beautiful scene. And one of the things that's beautiful about it is this music. Do you want to talk about that, Thomas?
Oh, this was so fun. Yeah, like one of the best things about working on the show is just the hours we get to spend just staring at our actors' faces and trying to figure out what music could possibly help to tell their story. And this one was like many hours of sleepless night on my end trying to figure out what would possibly work here. And one of the ideas that we threw out, which was a really obvious one, in fact, I was almost embarrassed to include it, was the Santo and Johnny track Sleepwalk. And you guys, I didn't want to put the original Santo and Johnny's. I thought it was too obvious, so I put a different version, and you guys were like, I think we like the original more. I think you were the one, Peter, that said, what about Mr. Junior Brown? Or was that Vince?
It probably was Vince, knowing Vince.
Yeah, and then we looked into whether we could get Mr. Junior Brown involved, and his wife, Tanya, who is an incredible protector, basically just said, let me see if he can do it. And within 2 days, we had a recording. It happened so quickly. And I just had a conversation with her with great detail about just the tone of it and kind of talked her through the moods and all that. And it was so fun how it came together. And it was amazing how it just fit. It just fit beautifully when it arrived.
You know, you jumped on it so fast. We were worried that Junior would do the song and it wouldn't work and we wouldn't use it, and it just fits so perfectly.
And Dave did some great score for this as well.
Absolutely. And how did Santo and Johnny feel about it?
They were very upset. They called. They were crying. We kind of talked them down from the tree. It was difficult, but these things happen.
And Jenny, this is of course directed by the amazing Michael Slovis.
Yes.
Who was our DP on Breaking Bad. And how many times have you and Michael worked together?
I think this was number 3, maybe 3 or 4. Because we did a few episodes of Breaking Bad together, and we collaborate really well. Michael's just really wonderful, and we have a lot of the same. We seem to be on the same page most of the time, so he's always really easy to work with. But this was a great scene to do because we had a few things in the script of things that Jimmy could be doing, but it was Michael came up with some, and crew and Bob and everybody was kind of contributing to this whole sequence.
Great shot.
It's wonderful, and of course Michael is a terrific director, and he's also a terrific DP, but he's got a special relationship with Arthur Albert, who is our DP on this show. Arthur started Michael off. I believe Michael worked for Arthur for years as his what was he? Was he an electric?
I forget what he said.
He started as a grip, I think.
Yeah, and they were paired together, I think, in after school specials and just
awesome.
TV commercials and so on and so forth. And so when Michael couldn't finish the last episode of Breaking Bad, he brought Arthur in. And so Arthur actually shot the last few days of Breaking. Actually, more than the last few days. I think he shot most of the last episode of Breaking Bad.
I think that's what he said. Yeah.
And that was it. So. But of course, the work was just seamless. In fact, I had a day on Breaking Bad that was started with Michael, and then the footage was run over by an airplane. And so the reshoots were done by Arthur, and they intercut perfectly. These two guys are just on so much the same wavelength. And then this
well, they're both incredible artists, and I got to tell you, just as an actor, I have never ever with either one of them ever always felt so secure, such good hands that whatever they're shooting, they're going to make you look good.
So, and Ray, so what do you notice a difference depending on who the DP is? What's your relationship as an actor with the DP?
Jonathan's right. I mean, I've loved all the DPs I've worked with, but I do have to say that you feel you don't have to worry about anything when Arthur's shooting it, for sure. You know that he's so in tune with what the narrative is in the scene that needs to come across, but he's also very protective of the actors to, I mean, I'm supposed to look like a real woman, but that doesn't mean I want to look like my absolute worst. And you know that you can let it go, that it's going to be about the performance, and I don't have to be concerned with the rest of it.
He's a great artist. I mean, you look at his angles. It's just great stuff.
Yeah, you can shoot and make sure that this is a realistic woman without being. He never looks for the shot that's just going to be the most unflattering thing just to make a point either. So it's nice. It's nice to just let go of worrying about that stuff.
And also the way that both he and Slovis, it's funny that we talk about them in the same breath, but you should, that both of them, the calm serenity that they bring to the set is just such a help.
And I can tell you, working as a director, and I tend to be a jumpy person, so having someone who's steady makes a big difference.
Now, they wouldn't let me listen. Jenny, you were there. They wouldn't let me listen to this for the first time until the camera rolled.
Yeah, I believe Helen, our script supervisor, sang it during rehearsals, which was entertaining in itself.
And then you finally played it at Bob's actual track?
Yeah.
Yeah. Although we then recorded more of Bob singing it in his office when we actually filmed the other side. And so I think one of those is what we ultimately ended up using, because he gave us a lot of different reads on it. Sometimes it was a little big, and then other times he really wanted to like honor the song and sort of the original artistry of the song as much as he could.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because he didn't go for the joke.
Yeah, exactly. Which I think
nice.
is a thing that we try to do as often as possible on the show, is like not reaching for the joke, just allowing it to naturally come through.
Yeah, and likewise, Michael and you, when Michael was directing this and you were coming to talk about it, Jen, we did versions where she just finds it funny the whole time, and versions where she really won't let go of the poker face. And I love this middle that I think we all were finding of she's amused by him, but everything else is just going on behind the eyes.
Yeah.
You feel the whole process of her relationship with him, all the complexities of it, like each little moment, all these little nuances. It's great.
It was a beautiful scene.
The affection and all that.
There's Eileen.
I love this
Eileen.
scene. I love Eileen. And this scene, for me, this little moment feels so much like a Billy Wilder movie. And I don't know why. It's just I just feel like we're in the same world as The Apartment, and that's it's just so great, Jenny. I have to ask you though, Thomas. Here we had Jenny. I guess Jenny, you picked Bali High, or some.
I think that came from the room. I think we were talking a few different ideas, and I think Vince was the one who maybe initially floated Bali High and as a bit of a placeholder, and then the more we thought about it and actually looked at the lyrics and all that, it felt appropriate. Yeah, I mean, I was the one who's, if we had ever gotten to the Carpenters, like that would have been me. But
Unclearable.
Really?
Yeah, I was
I have
like
to
the
ask-
Carpenters catalog.
But Thomas, we have to get the rights to use Bali High.
But yeah, you have to clear it all ahead of time and plan it all ahead of time. And we had to clear it in multiple different choices to make sure that we narrowed it down to stuff that we knew we could clear. Because a lot of times musicals tend to be very expensive and can be very complicated. Because you have lots of songwriters, different publishers, and everybody's negotiating for their portion. And these things die in the
This
vine.
is Rodgers and Hammerstein, is that right?
I believe so.
Yes.
Yeah, that's and it's of course it's a tremendous classic. Mike, one of my questions was, is it a real place, Bali High? And it turns out, no, it's not.
It's not.
It's made up. So
It's of the mind and of the soul.
You haven't unpacked yet? Kevin and Paige are here.
Absolutely. Oh, here comes the great Wonder Icy.
Yes.
Walk.
Oh, yes.
This was so much
Oh
fun.
God.
Am I allowed to say that like we're mostly walking in an S?
yes,
Yeah, of
Because
course.
Tell us.
this place is not this large. This it is a real office building. And what do we take over, a floor at a time? What are we allowed over there? I forget.
Yeah, I think it's like 1 or 2 floors.
I mean, these are all actors here, but the floor is not long enough for this whole walk we're doing. So we're walking in an S. How great is Patrick at the icy walk? I was like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we actually had a plug, like a wall plug, that filled in a spot after you guys walked through a door. So the crew was hustling. I believe that HHM right there that they just passed is a wall plug, if I remember correctly. So they had
What's
to hustle.
wall plug mean?
It's just a wall that they can move and fill a space.
Oh.
So they put that in.
This was so, and you know what? We only just like Michael planned it out, and our crew is so amazing, and the camera ops there. That was steady cam walking backwards, and those people moved that smoothly. Like it only took us like 3 times, right? I feel like we did not have any chances at that one.
That's Paul Donachie, who really is an extraordinary
Paul.
camera operator, and he's great on Steadicam. He just has a wonderful eye, and is like Arthur, this calm influence, and here's the man himself.
So good.
I love how both men know exactly what's going on, and they're both going to go through their process.
So, Jonathan, you read this scene in the script. What's your process in preparing for a scene like this?
Well, my process for this was that in my house, because my mother typed on carbons her whole life, they were everywhere in the house. I just loved that these carbons were there. My preparation for this, it's Mike's life, and emphasized by the shutting of that door,
and the great sound effect.
But it's just the idea that there's going to be the great sound effect, and there's going to be carbon under this mat that anybody walks on, you're going to leave your prints on and stuff. This is the episode we do that, right?
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
That's what you're holding, and of course this is Vincent Fuentes. And I believe this is his first appearance on the show.
Yeah, this is his debut.
And he's such a sweet kid.
So nice.
He's a sweet kid.
And I love what Gennifer Bryan did and put this little bit of red on his ponytail. It's just
well, how about what Trish did with the hair too? It's pretty great.
It's wonderful.
I would say to the audience out there, I think he should press Mike to put something in his yard besides dirt.
It's drought resistant.
Yeah,
right.
It certainly is. It's dirt.
And this is also another example of how deftly Michael has directed this episode, because later in the episode we're going to move through this space. In that amazing wonder that we'll come to eventually, but now he's setting us up. He's giving us such a clear idea of how the space works, where the entrance is, where the kitchen is in relation to everything else, and it's just beautifully thought out. Is that something that you discussed? You guys discussed about how he was going to stage the various scenes?
I mean, I usually just stand back and let Michael do his amazing work. But yeah, I know it's always important for him to really set that stuff up early on. Every shot that Michael does is in service of the story. So he never does anything just to be like, oh, here it is. But I think having that bedroom door open in this scene is absolutely deliberate to help remind us later.
Jen, where did you come up with the idea of the carbons?
We were trying to think of a really low-tech idea of a way to figure out if someone had been in your house. And again, that's one of those things that just comes out of the room. I think with Mike, we always try to come up with the most practical, low-tech version of something rather than going straight to a technological. If he needs to use technology, he will. It's not that he doesn't. But if he doesn't have to, he's not going to. So that's always sort of...
I wonder how many, because there is a youth, and it's not a joke, that carbon paper was used in old manual typewriters. And that's how you got your duplicates.
Yeah.
And I bet there are a lot of people that don't know that.
I'm sure.
And of course, here's Dennis Boutsikaris, who's just wonderful.
So Ray, how tricky was this scene?
We don't use legalese a lot because this isn't a courtroom procedural show, but you do see conference room scenes that have it, and then this courtroom scene, and certainly Jimmy has had some, and you guys are so great about making sure the language really is professional and exact and technically what a lawyer would be saying. That being said, it's tough. It is a foreign language.
Yeah.
Even the syntax is different than it is in conversational language. And you want to look like somebody who does it well. But I was so thrilled to have this scene because it annoys me when characters are said to be great at their jobs and you never see them be great at their jobs. And so I was thrilled to show that she really is good. Even at something that she knows is a no-win case, she still conducts herself with the utmost professionalism.
I have to say, when I watch the scene, until you reveal that you didn't win, I always think that Kim won. I like her arguments.
Yeah.
It's so
which is great. I mean, and it's great as an actor. Like, you're supposed to be playing every scene as though it could go your way, and and so you guys did a great job.
I love how Schweiker gives his guy his bag to carry.
And that's Marty, and he's also a great guy.
I just wanted to say good work.
Marty, of course, who appeared last season
But I'm pretty sure I lost.
in episode 8.
It's an unwinnable position. That's why your boss didn't.
So
Dennis and I were laughing after that whole courtroom scene, and then Dennis has some tremendous scenes elsewhere. For some reason, this day, he and I could not walk and talk to save our lives. We spent the majority of takes. I don't know if you remember that. Like, we just kept, like, not getting the words to... We started walking like robots, and then you do that horrible actor thing where now you're in your own head and you can't get it straight.
Drinks for you too. Your usual Moscow Mule.
And then here comes said amazing monologue from Dennis.
Yes.
it's wonderful. And one of the things that's interesting is that there is a lot more going on the soundtrack than just the dialogue. So we have Nick, do you want to talk about what's going on in a scene like this?
Well, these things are really kind of difficult because you don't want to step on all the dialogue and you want to make it interesting. So trying to keep a balance of energy and atmosphere alive while two people are having this very intimate and personal conversation is always hard to do. And we have a lot of moments in this episode. We have a lot of atmospheric things that have to kind of hold the scenes together without interfering with what's going on. But this is, especially when you have a room that's so busy and so much going on, I think there's a little bit of music playing throughout it without it interfering with everything else is a delicate balance.
And to clarify, all of the stuff you're hearing, the conversations, all of that is what you put in later. Because when we film this, everything is quiet except for Ray and Dennis.
Absolutely.
So if I were on the set, would the extras be talking and eating and making
Faking
noise?
it.
No, they're
Faking
fake.
it.
It's all fake.
It's all
Yep.
wow.
Peas and carrots.
And you know that. Don't be coy. You know that.
This is,
Are you our audience stand-in, Peter?
He is.
I'm just
But for the layman, that's good
yes,
to know.
it's good to well. Nick, why would you do that? Why do you want to? Why wouldn't you just have everyone talking and doing their thing?
Anything that's on a microphone is difficult to get rid of. So if we want to hear the dialogue, we want to make sure it's recorded clean and proper. It's easy to add things afterwards and take them out. So the cleaner the track is, the easier job we have in the end. So we always go for that. But even then, with so much happening, it's hard to keep it perfectly clean. So there's a lot of things that have to be
it's funny
cleaned
too
out.
because it is deadly quiet, which is unusual
Right.
realistically to be in a restaurant and have it be deadly quiet. So every now and then, a background person, God love them, like that's been there for 12 hours, like their fork does clink,
Right.
and Dennis and I, like you feel arrested, like a record has skipped. in the
Exactly.
room.
And of course, Phil Palmer is our on-set recordist, and he gets such clean dialogue that I think it gives us a little bit more flexibility.
Absolutely.
Emmy nominee.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I think he won too for Glee. So
All right.
Did he?
he's an amazing guy. No, he's one of the best in town for sure.
He's a wonderful
Peter,
guy.
I mean, your knowledge is greater than mine, but there was, and I hate to say that, but there's a time when that shadow, the way that is shot, and the way the lighting falls, there was a time not that many years ago that the whole face would have had to have been lit
Oh
up.
yeah.
That's
You
true.
wouldn't accept it.
And there are television networks to this day that would not be willing to give us the flexibility to do contrast the way we do on the show, to let things go as dark as we do. And that's we like to let Arthur run free.
Well,
And he takes a lot of risks, and we love it.
well, that courtroom shout of Ray's courtroom back there was not knowing what goes on back there in those shadows gives it a really ominous look too, which is kind of great.
That's absolutely true. So did you and Dennis get together ahead of time and work on these scenes?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, we did. And he just like when Kim listens to Michael McKean Chuck do a story, a monologue, if you will, Dennis and Michael both would be the first ones to say there are no monologues. It was a scene, and so we talked about what's going on both sides, and who knows what, because it's still a volleyball game. It's still he has to be playing. His character has to alter what he's saying depending on whether or not he thinks Kim is going along with this, not accepting it. Is she biting? Is she liking it? And so we had a lot of fun, and he's such a great actor.
He is, and Dennis wanted his day off, but Ray demanded that he rehearse on his
Right.
day off.
Right.
Is this true?
No, that's not true at all. He's sort. You know what? I actually had one take. I'm not kidding. Where you just do that awful thing as an actor. Where like for a second, I just thought I was watching this amazing black box performance
Yes.
theater piece,
Yes.
and I was like, "Oh shit, I'm in this." So yeah, he's great.
I heard you say something once, Ray, and I'm going to mangle it so you can
good.
correct me. You said that when a character doesn't speak, it's not that they have nothing to say; it's that they're choosing not to speak.
Absolutely. No, I stand by that. I played other characters that are more observant or speak. I mean, speaking of people that use silence well, look at Jonathan Banks' character. Wouldn't you agree, John, that it's like if you're not speaking, you have such an interesting time as an actor coming up with why you don't speak, and it is not because it's a position of weakness. It's a choice.
I never thought about it.
Well, Nick,
He's not answering me unless I call him Dr. Banks at this point, by the way. So there's that.
and Nick, here we have another showcase
Yeah.
for you and the incredible sound team.
Yeah.
What are we hearing here?
Well, these are the best scenes to do because you have no dialogue, you have no music, and you're building all the tension from a performance and the way the mood is and everything. So everything's manufactured in a very subtle way, and it's what makes this show so extraordinary to be able to do these kind of moments. Everybody knows there's tension, but you're trying to elevate it to a new level with subtlety and atmosphere. And it's a real challenge because it's a fine balance. You put in too much creak and it takes you out of the scene, or if you too much background, it doesn't feel natural. So finding that balance is like keeping the tension at its highest and letting the performance do what it's doing.
Is any
really
of it
hard.
practical ever?
Some
the
of it.
doorknob, anything?
Some we keep some of if it works. In this scene, there was a lot of creaking that just gets recorded while he's walking through this creaky house. So we cut it the way we had it, and then we kind of massage it while we're mixing it together of how much we want to use and how much we don't. But all the footsteps are actually added after the fact. All the doors, as he's walking through the kitchen, a little bit of a hum of the refrigerator kind of adds tension to the whole
just
scene.
Keep in mind, this is all one shot we've
And it's
seen
all
so
one
far
shot.
inside.
So beautiful.
I
And-
never thought about it until you said it, though. But you're right; it's so smart that the house was laid out in daylight prior to the scene coming up.
And this is also, it looks to me, you tell me if I'm right, Jenny, or Jonathan, I think this is handheld, not Steadicam. And it has a slightly different look. It's doesn't have that extra smoothness
Yeah,
you
it's
get with the
unsettling.
Steadicam. You can kind of feel Paul moving with it, which it just has it's agitated a little bit. It's just beautiful.
I'll tell you, to look at it really quickly, though, and I'm looking at the performance, I wish I hadn't left my back to the room that long. That was just a moment too long.
Well, that's what we were all talking about.
Uh,
So glad we can have you here today to address this.
We're gonna.
That's crazy. And do people? You've probably said it in other episodes, but do people know this is not a set? This is a real house that you're trying to move around in.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
To
it is a real
film?
house. It's a tiny.
I mean, because I think
it's a small
I would
place,
watch
too.
this at home thinking like, oh, it's cut off like Shadowbox, and that's how
Yeah.
you're getting all this.
No, this is an actual location. It's the same location from Breaking Bad as well.
it's my house.
Yep.
Look at the lighting. It's so
Yeah,
amazing.
beautiful. I'm huddled in that bedroom, by the way.
Are you?
All right.
On the floor.
You didn't jump out?
No.
Yeah, you want to stay away when he's up to this.
Jonathan, did Al do these stunts with you?
I do my own stunts.
I know, but did he help you like figure out
Of
how to
course he
hit
did.
people?
Al's the best.
I
Al
love
Gatto, our stunt coordinator, who does magnificent work, and another guy you feel really safe in their hands. But these are good stunt men. And one of them, this is the day that one of them went down and whipped my legs out from underneath me, and I got a bad knee. So then the rest of the day I was iced and going around and whining like a little.
You didn't make a peep.
Okay, Jen, where are you right now?
Well, I was on the other side at that point. Yes, where is Jenny hiding?
That was such a fun scene to do. It's just so great to do the physical stuff.
It's always disconcerting to watch it, though, live.
It is.
It feels so real, and you just get so nervous, but it ends up looking so
I
great.
totally get nervous when I watch the shows, even because I
Yeah.
know, even when I know it's going to happen, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I love Dave's cue here.
Yeah, it's so lovely.
Which is, I love that we've played all this up to here dry,
Yeah.
and now the music comes in, and it's not there to drive anything. It's just helping us understand what's
Does
going
Dave
on.
make those
inside Mike.
decisions on his own, or
We sit around. We do what Nick and Thomas and a lot of us sit around in a room and watch the episode scene by scene, and just
Okay.
talk through what we think.
Yeah.
What we think we might hear. And Dave will say, we'll turn to Dave and we'll turn to Thomas and say, "Do you got anything to do here?" And
I got a question before we get out of this. Jenny, when we were here, what did you have in mind for Mike with the blood and the cleaning up? What in your mind was Mike going through?
For me, it was just, I think it's that feeling of, obviously he's capable, but that this sort of stuff does take it out of him. I think, he still has a lot of trauma from what happened with his son. And so any sort of violence, any of that, it's still going to affect him. I think sort of defining him away from who he was.
Well, and I'll even
Breaking
take
Bad.
that a step further. I think that the trauma goes even before the son. It
Oh,
goes
yeah.
way back. Thank you, dear.
well, we learn more and more about Mike, don't we? This season,
Yeah.
we've learned about that Mike was in Vietnam.
I was just about to grab some
Mm-hmm.
lunch.
Yeah, he needs them done by 2:30.
I love the menu. What was the menu name on
She's
this?
such a
The-
homely girl.
The
isn't
empty
she?
plate.
The empty plate.
But there's a salad on that plate, so it's a little.
Isn't that a real restaurant?
It is.
It
It
is?
is not. It's not. It's our lovely prop department came out. We had a couple to choose from.
The
and-
empty plate.
Yeah.
this was Audrey? Audrey played Julie. She
Yes.
was
And we're
great.
just
I
going to
loved her.
let the homely girl comment just go.
You're
Nobody's
so sweet.
going
It's lighting and special effects, and most of my face is done in post. So
This is a great kid.
Abigail is she's wonderful, and you guys are just so much fun together.
She has a fun time. She has a good time, and she's right there.
Now in the gag reel, she says something,
Oh, yeah.
which leads me to believe that
I give her $1 every time I curse.
she must be so
she
rich.
must be.
She's got a few bucks.
She's going to own a college. She's just not going to college.
It's nice that you're your authentic self around her, though. You
Well,
know.
it's
Don't encourage him.
my own kids from the time they were little. I had to do the same thing, and trust me, they made out. And oddly enough, my wife lets none of my girls curse. Although my middle daughter's got a mouth like me.
Oh,
I have a mouth like you.
And Harold.
He always gets on me.
That's a great show. I like
Lewis
that
and
show.
Lewis and Daniel.
Now, does Abigail have any idea that those are like? What is her perception of them, Mike?
She
in
doesn't
real life?
see him, baby.
No, but in real life, does she, as an actress, understand like how ominous it is for those two guys to show up?
I like that her dad was on the set, and we try to give her a little bit of the knowledge of what's going on. Now, that close-up right there was shot in October, right?
Oh, really?
That's Well, that's a little bit about how the sauce is made, but we decided we wanted, just for editing purposes, to get something a little tighter on you. So that was actually shot one of the last days of
Yeah,
production.
which was freezing. It was 35 degrees that morning. But right now,
So you're actually
we're in-
trembling with
Yes.
cold.
But right now we're at 100 degrees in the summertime when we shot this part of it.
That's what they call movie magic.
Boy, I love it.
Lewis and Daniel are two of the nicest guys ever. Like
They
they are
are.
so not like their characters. It's
Not at all.
just so
Polar
funny.
opposite.
We were so happy. So Jenny, why did you bring back Lewis and Daniel?
Why? I know. It was my sole decision to bring them. Well, we had talked about, originally it was just 2 henchmen, or 3 henchmen maybe, 1 to 3 henchmen, and then it just came up that, they're Hector's nephews, of course. Why wouldn't he use them? Why wouldn't he? And of course we love them, and it's great because I think I actually killed Daniel's character originally in Breaking Bad, so it was kind of nice to resurrect him.
That was when was that your first episode?
That was my first episode, yes. My first episode of Breaking Bad was when he does his legless crawl across the
Was that your
floor.
That wasn't your first produced episode of TV, was it?
It was my first produced
Wow.
episode of TV.
That
Yep.
is an
Wow.
amazing
Yeah.
episode too.
You went to
Full
us-
circle.
You went to us starting at the top, and then here's this
So great.
this wonderful piece of what we're now calling face acting.
It's just
I want
acting.
everyone out
It's
there to
just
know
acting.
that Jen means it as a compliment. Yeah, this was fun. And the guy that played Dale, Steven, right? He was so great.
Stephen Flynn.
So much fun.
What are
I
you
ju-
drinking? What is that?
It's a Moscow,
Moscow
Mule.
Mule.
Which I do like in real life.
That's my
Somebody
my
just
drink.
tweeted to me like, people tweet me every time they toast the show with a Moscow Mule or with tequila shots. I'm glad I can inspire drinking and smoking.
Yeah.
I feel a sponsorship
Bringing back
coming
all
on.
the vices on
This
the
was
show.
so much
This
fun to
is-
play, though. Her decision about, again, it's that weird gray area. I mean, just from my point of view about how I'm playing it, of like who it's okay to scam, like who deserves it, and who makes it kind of victimless crime, or is it kind of? I mean, she definitely makes a decision.
Yeah, that was important to us too because we don't really want to see Kim and Jimmy taking advantage of people who don't necessarily deserve it, and so that's why we very consciously had the sequence outside with his wife, or girl. I believe it is his wife in the script, and then hitting on her. So he sort
Right.
of clicks into, okay, I deserve to be taken advantage of.
And it's part of her judgment, and
Yeah.
she's playing him. So I love how you play this, Ray. It's,
Thanks.
You're so amused. There's a little bit of just a little touch of detachment. It's wonderful. It's wonderful, and I love what we just saw earlier too. For me, it's one of the things that you don't see enough of on television when you get to really watch a character, watch behavior, watch thought without having dialogue or even music telling you what's
Yeah.
going on. Just to be with the character
It's
for a
fun,
moment.
yeah. And you guys trust the actors, and you also trust the intelligence, and it's wonderful to get to play, and you assume the intelligence of your audience, which I think the fans really appreciate. And then here's Jesse. How much do you
Jesse
love her?
Ennis.
Well, what's amazing about this episode too, in the first 30 minutes here, you have three major characters that have basically silent scenes, right?
Yeah.
You have a whole scene where you're walking
true.
through the house, don't have a single dialogue. Bob has one right at the
Bob.
beginning, and you have one too, and then you have this amazing monologue right in the middle of it that tells this whole story. So it's really
That's well observed. I hadn't thought of
I
it
had
that
not
way.
thought of that. It's true.
This girl's so much fun.
Jesse
She
Ennis.
plays it
so
so
much
well.
fun.
And she and Bob go a
Way back.
long
Just-
way back.
Bob has known her since she was born because her
That's-
dad was part of Mr. Show.
That's right. And Bob, if you keep listening to these commentaries, or actually, if you have been listening to them, you will hear Bob talk about Jesse in episode 1.
She's just so good. She's great.
She's wonderful. She even though she did know Bob before this, she certainly won the role fair and square.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you can tell.
We just part of it was we watched actresses, and she was the one who we thought would really give him the hardest time.
Yeah. There was just that slight off.
That's awesome.
Like she might kill you in your sleep kind of energy
Yes.
to that audition that really won us
Right?
over.
Yeah.
totally.
I gotta say, I love me some Omar too.
He's
Yeah.
great.
Oh, yes.
I like when he's like,
really-
"Oh crap, mom and dad are fighting. I gotta,
Yeah, and it's just there's a very sweet undercurrent of being on Jimmy's side.
He
that
always
plays
wants to
that's
make sure
so
it ends up
nice.
well.
Yes, he reminds me of Joey Lou. I will just say that
Yeah.
Joey Lou, my assistant for the first 2 seasons, who is one of the great, wonderful, warm people I've ever known, and was always worried about me when I got in trouble.
Aw.
More so than my own family.
Oh.
And I love, I'll tell you, this is one of my favorite turns in the whole season because Jimmy and Kim have been on the outs,
Uh-huh.
rightly so, for a while because he really did you dirty, Kim.
Yes. And you
And
gave Kim
he-
the dignity to be allowed to be angry for longer than a 3-minute scene.
Yes, and now she's the one who calls him and says, "Let's let's scam, and that's it makes me so happy.
And I want to say a little bit of a little behind the scenes stuff about the generosity of Mr. Bob Odenkirk. This episode and the one before was one of the first times Bob was able to go home for like a full weekend and stuff, and he's not in quite a few scenes back to back. And he came back this day when we shot this one, and just prior to the scene where I call him, Bob had texted me how excited he was for me that Kim was doing all these scenes in 205 and 206, and that he was just rooting me on as an actor, and just very generous.
I'm just getting started.
That is wonderful. We're so fortunate, you know, to have Bob be this.
Well, I called you, for God's sakes. I called you. I said, don't fuck up. I said, do whatever you do, don't fuck
He's
it
not
up.
even kidding. I get texts from Jonathan saying, like, your scene's going to be great, Stinky, if you don't fuck it up. That's what Jonathan texts me.
Oh.
Stinky's such a great insult.
And by the way, he's been calling me that since pretty much the first time I met him, when he demanded that I be smart and funny really fast.
There are no mistakes, my friend.
I know.
.com, some way for people to.
This scam's played so well. Are you a good scammer? How did you write? Like, it's a good scam that you wrote.
This was hard won, I think. It was originally kind of a real estate thing, and then we came up with the internet idea, and and just sort of we just came up with. We sort of sketch it in, and then when it comes down to nuts and bolts, then you have that crisis moment of like, oh crap, I've never scammed anybody. I don't know. So
They're really
I think
good scams,
Vince and Peter and
though.
and we were going over the original draft because we had something different, and it wasn't quite working, and we just kind of talked it out in a notes meeting and kind of came up with this internet thing. So and kind of crammed it down.
It's terrific, and it's also. I love the way you wrote that, and I love the way you guys play it because it's this. We've already seen a few scams, so it's almost like you just sketched it in with pencil instead of having to dot every I and cross every T. You just get the feeling of where it's going without having to do the whole thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. You just want to make it more about the characters and let everybody fill the rest in.
I love this location.
Oh, and this is
Yes.
this is just such a wonderful scene.
Delicious ice cream.
And again, Nick
Now,
and
watch
Thomas, you're
this.
choosing to be silent. Through
Watch
this,
this, kids.
Another-
Because
Yeah.
Okay.
when Michael Mando grabs me right here and runs me down, he jerks my belt up to the point that I thought that I was going to be a soprano, for Christ's sake.
Okay, we're watching.
Well,
Watch
he's
it.
over there. Unfortunately, it's over there in the shadows.
Well, this was shot in 5K, so we'll be able to blow it up in post.
Look at that shot.
I
Oh,
know.
my God. Oh,
Jenny, I was on set watching with you. Isn't
Yeah, you
this like
were.
2:00 in the morning?
It was. We
This
shot
is late.
overnight for this. Yeah.
This is late.
Everyone did such a great job staying
It
in the moment.
it was a bonding experience though. Video
Yeah.
Village was outside with blankets on, freezing.
Yeah, it got
remember?
really cold,
Waiting for a
yep.
coffee truck.
Yeah.
my wife was there that night.
Yes,
Yeah.
Jenny was
Really?
there.
Yeah, the original bloodthirsty Spaniard.
He's kidding. She's the best part of Jonathan.
That's true.
She's the only one that was wrapped in blankets in like a stylish way. The rest of us, were like, looked like we were camping. It was horrible, and she was like, "Hello," like from a runway. It was crazy.
Oh, Jenny Banks.
This is
Who doesn't want to see these two guys?
such a wonderful
These two
place
actors
off.
just
And
talk.
of course, Mark Margolis.
I love him.
So, what's it like? What's it like when you sit down with a Mark Margolis?
You know, I have so much respect for him that, and it's one of those things where I there's no other way to. It's my experience. Age, guys, age is a friend to an actor, I think, and I just not unlike Ray, I would watch and I'd think, well, look at you, look what you're doing, and
How about your payment is you get to leave?
I love it. I just love it. It's fun to do.
And of course, Mark. Just to say this for the folks listening, Mark couldn't be more different from this character.
Totally.
Is-
And no accent in real life.
Mark is
He learned his accent for this?
Mark is a New Yorker, and he is talkative and expressive, and he's just a lovely guy with so much to say and so much insight and so much fun. And then he shuts down for this role. He becomes another person. And it's just tremendous.
To die for this.
It's like Giancarlo versus Gus. They couldn't be more different.
That's true. That's it. It's quite. Oh,
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Giancarlo's like a kid in a candy store constantly.
That's funny.
That's that kind of energy.
he is. Yes, Giancarlo is a sweet person.
He's very warm and focused.
Yes, he really
Like,
is.
You know, just really interested in you.
Emotionally
Yeah,
concerned about
yeah.
how you're doing
Yeah.
and
Very
how you're
sweet, yeah.
working.
You see, wouldn't you have been great to work with him, Ray? And you know what I mean? Because I could care less. You know?
I was thinking, I don't know.
This is
if
all
he and
the
I would
same
get
things we
anything
say about you.
done.
Jonathan. We can't say anything nice about Jonathan because he's here.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. If you weren't. Oh
And
my
Jonathan
gosh.
will take care of that on his own anyway. That's a good shot. What a jawline on that boy. All right, dude. I need some music, pal. You and I got to talk about my music.
All right, let's
You
have
know?
a conversation.
Well, I'll tell you. I always go to Billie Holiday.
Can we take it out of your salary? Is that all right?
Right?
Is she expensive?
Yes, she is.
Really?
Unfortunately.
I volunteered.
I love how you know exactly what's going on and you're just simply preparing for it. There's such a calm professionalism between these two.
I was actually gonna say, I think you guys on this show's choice to not use music is probably even more risk taking than using
Or
some
cheap.
That
music
is-
you-
Or cheap.
But
One
that's
of the two.
the one thing, like when we're in the room and our spotting sessions are so valuable for us because we truly don't have temp. We're working off of a blank slate. And it really is saying, can we contribute here? How do we contribute here? How subtle can we be? How
But
can
that's
we
so
do the
great that
least?
you're asking yourself that. Don't you feel? I feel like I watched a lot of things where selling the soundtrack was more important
Yeah,
than
or there's
what was
spackling.
actually contributing.
Yeah.
But this
Well,
goes
everyone's
back
so-
to the pilot of Breaking Bad. That's how it was set up and conceived. It was conceived with very little music and cut that way. So then you don't have any, perception coming in of what it should be. And if the action flows on its own, you have to respect it and let it go.
Well,
and then
speaking
know
of-
where you're going to add to it.
Speaking of
And we've
flowing
done that
action,
ever since.
Jenny, this here, giving the money back. Well, there it goes. The money's back.
Yes, go ahead.
No.
Yes.
I mean, it's another one of those characteristics of Mike. That moral. I did my job.
His code.
Yeah.
Mike is he's going to be the honest thief. He's going to be if he's going to be in that dark world, he's going to stick by his code.
I love the ice station zebra callback.
Right?
So nice.
This scene is in the gag reel because it's one of those times where, I mean, we were dealing with the wonderful, so human ambiguity of like not being able to put your finger on what's wrong. Why can't I be happy? And there not being a real answer. And you're seeing Jimmy really be there for her. And they're both kind of sorting through this stuff. And in reality, what took the longest was Bob being able to tie his own tie without a mirror in front of him. And that's why that scene's in the gag reel, because at some point I was just desperately trying to help him by like Morse code blinking to him. He's like, it's crooked, right? It's crooked. I can't.
Like a dead end for me anyway.
Exactly. So what's the problem?
Why do we take the Royals?
I get asked that on Twitter so often. I'm assuming it
And
goes...
what's your answer?
Well, I tell them, we're still discovering that, but people by then had seen the Schweikart interview. The idea, I say I'm from the Kansas-Nebraska border somewhere Midwest, so this goes with that, but the specificity of the shirt, or Kansas itself, or whether she's a sporty gal, I don't know yet. I don't know yet. Why, are you guys answering that presently?
Peter?
I asked that to you on the day.
To be continued.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about this scene is just what you said, Ray. These are two people who think they should be happy. And they're both, and especially Jimmy's trying to talk himself and he's trying to talk Kim into being happy. And you guys play that other layer underneath so beautifully.
That's what informed the whole music part too, because we knew if we were going to have music here, how do we kind of capture the tone of
talk
two
about
people?
this. Talk about this piece of music that's coming up.
Oh, it was so fun. I think a lot of it was just trying to figure out how to telegraph away from them and kind of comment on it as opposed to being with them, because the truth is they should both be happy. This should be perfect. But somehow it's not. It's unsatisfied. And so I thought a little bit about things that have tragedies but are emotionally satisfying, and Bollywood songs have that, the sense of something. And it's a duet, so you have male and female. You have the sense of two lovelorn lovers who don't see each other and want to see each other. So we're kind of painting a tragedy that doesn't exist on top of a scene that's really just very funny, and at the same time captures the tone of it.
And it has this wonderful over-the-top brass.
The surf guitar component to it.
And the surf guitar. I think this was an idea we had pretty early on, and I kept on hoping that Jimmy would break this thing.
Right.
And we finally we got to it in this episode.
Yeah.
It's so satisfying.
It's so satisfying. I love it.
Yeah, this is the Bombay Royale. They're second-generation Indians from Australia who kind of get obsessed with Bollywood musicals, and this is just they're wonderful.
And what are they called?
They're called the Bombay Royale. They're an Australian second-generation Indian group.
You sent us a series of things, and this came up, and the first thing we all said, he's insane, he's crazy. And then we listened to it again. This is the most brilliant thing we've heard.
But it's like you have to talk. I got to talk my team into this because they were all about to veto it, and we all kind of vote on these things. And I came up with this whole elaborate, and they just looked at me like, okay, the Bollywood thing and the whole, they just didn't buy it. And I just was like, come on. And we threw it in there, and luckily you guys liked it. But that's the fun thing about this job. We get to try things that don't make any sense, and somehow they do, or we hope that they do.
Yeah, well, it's a great episode.
Yes.
Thank you.
Fun.
Thank you. Yeah. Wow.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys for the camera.
Thank you.